it will start. Okay. So thank you very much for inviting me to the Mikado I'm a Cat conference. This is a very, very nice meeting. I enjoyed the talks yesterday. So these are very, very great talks, and I learned a lot yesterday. So today I'd like to talk about some of the future of AI-assisted endoscopic procedures. So my name is Kensaku Mori, and I'm from Nagoya University. So this slide just summarizes my research works at my laboratory. So basically, we have been working on the image analysis, including image processing, machine learning, and visualizations and sensor fusions. Some of the research topics of us is multi-organ segmentations, and then we convert these results to the surgical navigation systems. So one is the laparoscopic procedure assistance, and the other one is the bronchoscopic navigations. Also, such kind of the results can be used for the virtual reality things. Also, we are working on the endoscopic assistance procedures like colonoscopic colonoscopy assistance system. So that is certificated by Japanese PMDA. So this is just a summary, and so I just go to the main topics of this talk. So this is just the pictures of IRS meeting in Chicago of the 2019. So last year, all of the IRS meeting was on a virtual platform. However, this 2019 pictures, it was on-site conference, and as you can see, the RSNA is going to the AI. So everything now of the RSNA is AI things. And these are pictures of the AI-related company booths. So the one big floor is occupied by AI, radiological AI companies. So as you can see, the medicine is going to AI now. So it's a big trend in this field. So I think the medical AI is a big innovation in medicines, and many procedures will be automated by medical AIs. Probably this future will come in the next 10 years. And medical AI will completely change the medical scenes in the next decade. So this is also the probably big topics in these areas. And I think that we are now the status or state of the from the how to develop medical AI to how to work with medical AIs. So I think that most of the researchers are working on developing a medical AI. Of course, we have to continue this way for our next 2 decades. But also the important point is how to work with medical AI. This is not a how to use; it's a how to work with medical AIs. Because I think in the future, so the scenes where the medical AI becomes colleagues in medical fields. So such a future is very around the corners of us. So it's maybe in that after 10 years, so the medical AI will become a medical colleagues in the clinical field. So one of the key words of such artificial intelligence or AI is symbiosis. And symbiosis is not a new word, so it's a very, very old word. And this is some of the, this is machine-computer symbiosis papers published in the 1960s. I think also this is one of the textbook of the artificial intelligence. And I think the symbiosis between the humans and artificial intelligence can be said to be a relationship that enhances each other's abilities. So such trends will happen in medical field in the very, very near future. So most of the current medical AI is kind of the mono-assistance systems. And it will then convert to the multi-assistance. So the AI can diagnose multiple disease simultaneously. and then it will go to symbiosis. So you will work with AI in the future. So I think the in operating room, environmental intelligence will exist in the futures. One is for decision support or co-worker in the operating room, and in the planning stage, the medical AI coexist with you, and also if you perform some of the patient consent, uh, so also the medical AI will exist with you. So it's you will work with AI in the future. So these are very, very, marketing things. So it's a kind of economical issue. So medical AI market is showing a very, very rapid growth, and so it's almost doubling every year. So it's very, very hopeful world, hopeful market. So it's probably it's going to be a very, very big market in the future. So I have been working on the Bronchosoft navigation in 2000. It's a very, very early years of 2000. So that's 2000 or 2001. And that is a bronchoscopic navigation system. And the left side shows virtual bronchoscopic image. So this is a work of 90s. And so you can now fly through the inside of a human body like this way. So it's fly through navigations and combined with endoscope, it's in the bronchus case, it's a bronchoscopy. So you can, connect bronchoscope and virtual bronchoscope to navigate the physician to the target point. And as you can see, this system is showing at the current location of the bronchoscope. Also, that is showing the anatomical names of the bronchial branches on the real bronchoscopic images. So it's kind of the intelligence. However, at this moment, it was not using any of the machine learning techniques. It's a very, very rule-based technology to segment bronchus from the CT, or it's a very, very rule-based assignment to bronchial branches extracted from CT. So here is some of the summaries of AIs in endoscopic procedures. One is probably the abnormal region detection from CT or endoscopic images. And the other one is qualitative diagnosis assistance. So we just assist the AI assists qualitative diagnosis of the endoscopic images. As a third topic, maybe endoscopic procedure decision support. So one is anatomical structure understanding, and one is surgical flow analysis or surgical procedure analysis. And the other one is probably medical staff support. So this maybe can be done by a surgical workflow analysis or surgical tool recommendations for nurses. And also the patients and their family support is a big probably it's a big issue. However, in this talk I will omit this one, but assisting patients or their families is quite important issues in when we look at some of the situations in the hospitals. So here, this is a figure just to show the flows from the diagnostic process to the post-operation diagnostic processes. So every of these 4 steps, the AI can be used. First with CT scanning or endoscopies. So the system is using AI for improving the image qualities or for reconstructions. And post-processing is also using AI, such as segmentations and anatomical structure understanding. And surgical planning, so we can use any of the AI systems. And during surgery, so we also use some of the AI techniques. And post follow-up diagnosis, so we will use AI. So everywhere AI or deep learning. So I want to show some of the examples of AIs of the endoscopic procedures. First one is colorectal cancers. So the colorectal cancer is also the number one cancer in Japan, and it is, however, the colorectal cancer, it is possible to completely care for early stage cancers. So if you do the colonoscopy and find the polyps in very, very early stage, so you don't have to worry about the polyps. And however, we have to find the colonic polyps at this very early stage. So colonoscopy is quite important tools to detect early stage polyps. However, we have a problem of lack of colorectal endoscopists and pathologists. So this is a big issue. And recently, Olympus has developed and commercialized endocytoscopy systems. So this is a very, very new endoscope, and it can possibly perform a conventional observation and super magnified observations. So this video shows endocytoscopy. So you can see the very, very conventional endoscopy images with very super magnified views of the colonic polyp surfaces. So you can see some of the cell things on this images, on this endoscopy images. So the total colorectal screening is quite important anyway. So here's some of the curves of the TCS cares. So this is, if we do a colorectal cancer screening by endoscopy, so we can suppress 53% of colorectal cancer deaths. And also, however, the overlooking of polyps causes 6% of post-colonoscopy colorectal cancer. So we have to prevent the polyp overlooking in the endoscopy. However, 25% of polyps are missed in colonoscopy. So we have to, solve such problems by using AIs. And here shows some of the causes of overlooking of colonic polyps. One is perceptual errors, and the other one is exposure errors. So perceptual errors, so the polyps can be observed on the screen. However, the physicians missed it. And exposure error is polyp is occluded by household falls and cannot be observed physically. So this error can be, perceptual error can be solved by using AIs. So I will show some of the colonoscopy AIs that is called end-brain systems. So the end-brain consists of several functions. One is polyp frame detections and estimate the polyp size, and the other one is this polyp is cancer or not. So firstly, I will talk about the if you find polyps and it's a cancer or not functions. So this is just a video of the end-brain system where it has polyp detection functions like this way. And if the computer finds polyps, it beeps a lot. And then we will take the super magnified views of the polyps, and this system immediately answers the probabilities of this polyp. So this polyp is neoplastic in 98%. This is another polyp like this way. And the computer now can detect the polyp existence. And then we go to the polyp site and then capture the very super magnified views of polyps like this way. And this is non-neoplastic way things. Because we have a basic research on the very super magnified views of the colonic polyp surfaces and also pathological image comparisons. And we found if you take the super magnified views of the polyp surface, and we can estimate the pathological diagnosis from these images. So to do such a classification, so we have firstly introduced texture features and hierarchic features. So this is a very, most of the people or attendees of this conference knows about hierarchic features. And we found that these features are quite useful for classifying the super magnified views of the colonic surfaces to classify this image into the neoplastic or non-neoplastic. And this feature is classified by support vector machines, and we obtained the classification result. And during real-time assistance, we are just showing likelihood that is easily computed from this support planes. And by combining such systems, so we can create this type of a system. So, well, if you find polyp and take super magnified views of the polyps, and then the computer automatically diagnose. And this is another option. So another polyp, sorry. Yes, and the computer diagnosis at a non-neoplastic, so you're like. And of course, we have constructed such AI endoscopy system. So the goal is to commercialize or as a medical equipment to enable us to use such devices in the real clinical field. So we have a lot of work to get a certificate from Japanese FDA. And we have compared, first we have compared the ECCAT computers and experts and non-experts. And first, these are very fast papers, and we found most of the diagnostic accuracy of the experts and computers are almost same, and also very low in a non-expert medical doctors. So we found very significant differences between the computer diagnostic abilities and the non-expert abilities. And to obtain the certificate, it's a very long way. We consumed almost 4 years, and however, we got some of the approval from Japanese FDA, and we just we commercialized these systems from Olympus in February of 2019, and it was very long way. And the current system can diagnose the polyps in 3 classes. So maybe I hope you can see the video correct way. And however, it is in other 3 classes classifications. And if you have to do some of the biopsies, the computer asks you to do a biopsy. And the polyp detection is most of the basic functions for colonoscopic AI. And in such case, we have to consider about spatial temporal structures in the movies. And we have constructed some of the 3D CNN to detect the polyps from the video sequences. And this is a very simple architectures of the polyp detections from video frames. And this is a very fast trial to detect the polyps from the colonoscopy videos. And this is everything is real time, and the computer detects the polyps like this way, and it shows the likelihood of the polyp existence in the left side corners of the movies. And if the computer detects the polyps, it beeps. And the computer detects the polyps in this such case. So now the physicians are putting a colonoscope, and here there was a polyp here. It's just behind of the household fold, but the computer was able to detect such polyps like this way. So the computer is quite powerful to detect such polyps. Well, of course, the polyps they showed up. Probably it's 2 or 3 frames in the video sequences, and that can maybe easily missed by physicians. And combining everything of the polyp detections and the qualitative evaluation of the polyps, so we can create such systems. And it's a kind of the replay of the videos I showed in the previous slides. To go to the next slide. And the polyp size estimation is quite a big challenge for us. And polyp size information is quite important. So we have to, estimate the polyp size. It's over 10 millimeters or less. So, and how to do that? Of course, the appearance-based polyp size estimation is quite a difficult problem. So, it's the appearance sizes and how to estimate the very, very, absolute size of the polyps. So we have introduced some of the, depth image to estimate polyp size, and also we, gave up to estimate the size. So we just size estimation problem into the classification problem. So it's a 10 millimeter over or less. And we infer the depth images from input RGB image by using CNN. And depth image is combined with RGB image, and then the classifier estimates the polyp size. This is a depth estimation of the colonoscopic movies. So the right side is estimated depth image, and the left side is RGB image. And we just use the 2 images so we can estimate the polyp size of this. And here's a very simple way of CNN to classify the RGB image for the polyp size. And the computers, actually, so the computer can be classified the polyp size by using the depth images of the polyps. And now, so we were enabled, we were able to estimate the polyp size, but that is of course is two classifications. And so I will skip these ones. So the EndBrain series is now extended to the 4 products, and we are commercializing these systems. So one of the specific point is this polyp classification system is extended to other diagnostic system. So of course you can purchase this system in Japan. And the other topic is laparoscopic procedures, where laparoscopic surgery is a very, very difficult task, and some of the surgical navigations are required. And surgical assistance systems can be summarized as surgical planning systems and surgical navigation systems and laparoscopic video analysis systems. So one of the big issues of this laparoscopic surgery for stomach is that you have to understand the anatomical structures of the stomach. That is quite complicated. And one of the assistance methods is to display the anatomical structures extracted from preoperative CT dataset by using a deep learning. So it's kind of the unit-based anatomical structure segmentations, and also the blood vessel anatomy is very important in abdominal surgery. So this is a brief overview of the blood vessels of the upper abdominal areas. And of course, you can extract the blood vessel regions from CT dataset. However, you have to also understand the anatomical names of the blood vessels. So we have utilized the graph convolution network to assign the anatomical names to each blood vessels like this way. And the another surgical assistance system is the scene recognition and showing of the 3D views, which is very appropriate to the this kind of surgical scenes. And now the computer is understanding the which process of stomach cancer surgeries, and this one is some of the place of the cutting the blood vessels, and the computer understanding such scenes and then showing the 3D rendering of to assist such surgical procedures. Also, surgical scene recognition is very important. One is anatomical structure recognitions, and bleeding area recognitions, and instrument recognitions, and surgical task recognitions, and surgical process recognitions. So everything is probably it's a very, very big areas of AI or deep learning based image segmentations. And by using a multi-input directed units, so we are segmenting the blood vessels like this way. So this is IMA, inferior membranostic arteries. So that is a very main arteries in the lower abdominal areas. And the computer is segmenting a very important blood vessels from laparoscopic videos. However, the future, we have to find some of the correspondence of the preoperative CT scans of these extracted blood vessels from laparoscopic videos, or by combining Euro and unit, so we can segment the bleeding areas from the laparoscopic videos. So now the green area is our cyan area is bleeding areas that are recognized by computers. So it's a bleeding area recognition is also important point. And surgical instrument segmentation from laparoscopic video is important. And I will skip these topics, but slides. However, here's some of the segmentation result. So we are training the AI, or that is a kind of the based on the unit by using a synthetic data set to make a lot of images. And this is surgical to segmentation result. Well, of course, this domain conversions probably will helps us to endoscopic procedure in the futures. The upper row is virtual colonoscopic views are constructed from CT or rendered based generated from CT dataset, and we can convert such colonoscopic views, virtual colonoscopic views, into very, very realistic colonoscopic views like this way by using cyclograms, and this kind of the views can be utilized for some of the assistance of the endoscopic procedures. So I think the environmental intelligence in operating room will become possible in the next 10 years, or maybe 15 years. So from now, we have to start to think about how to work with AI in operating room. So this is just summarizing my talk. And well, of course, I can say the anatomical structure information is key information in AI in endoscopic procedures, but it's hard to obtain annotated medical data. So we have to think about this, and also we have to think about implement a mechanism to train the AI in different institutions or countries. One of the solutions will be a federated learning or the utilization of the synthetic images, and the computer resources are quite important issues for developing medical AI. Thank you very much. That's it. And this is my talk. And thank you for joining my talk.
Okay, thank you, Professor Mori. I will leave it to our audience. So do you have any questions or any comments So try to drop the messages in the chat box or in the Q&A. Hi, Professor. May I ask you a question?
Yes.
Yes, I saw from your slide, you said the colorectal cancer is like the #1 cancer in Japan, and you mentioned you have developed some endocytoscopy, which is a new endoscopy that can achieve like a 300 to 500 magnification. Can you
Yes.
introduce more to this new endoscopy?
Oh yes, this is it's not out of my work. However, so I can show some of the videos from the Olympus. It's a, so it's a kind of the endoscope which has the very big microscope inside it.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, yes. So that is why you can take very super magnified views. So the the conventional endoscope lens location is fixed. However, in this endoscope, so you can move the lens location like a zoom lens of the camera, and that is why you can take a 300 times or 500 times magnified views. Okay.
Okay, thank you. So I think our researchers and particularly our audience, suppose they also focus on the colorectal disease, they may benefit from this new method. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.